Boom! Greetings from YouTube. Once again, it's the draft guy, Danny Savage. I apologize. I should have had this video out the other day, but this week just been a little bit under the weather. So now I'm going to drop tight end part two, and since I'm a little behind, probably this afternoon I'm going to drop safety part two. Then that's just going to leave us with corners and then wide receivers part two. And then boom, by Monday, we're going to swing back around and then we're going to start all positions all over again. Running back, offensive tackles, guards, the whole 9 yards, every position. So the goal is to be by part four, by like mid of the month, middle of the month of July. So the goal is to be at 200 players by August the 1st. So, because my goal is to probably do this year, I want to get up to like 400 at minimum, maybe even up to 500 players. That's with all the small school guys, all the sleeper guys, like all the undrafted free agents that you're going to see. That's what separates the men from the boys. Anyone could just take a top 10 list and break it down. Talk to me when you can, actually name 300, 400 guys and actually watch them. And you can see, like I don't understand why people are saying they have, I can't find tape. Dudes, there's 6 years of tape on these people, 5 years of tape on some guys, 6 years of tape on some guys. It's ironic, just real quick cowboy thing, and then I'm out with them. I saw yesterday it was Damone Clark's 24th birthday. Yet our receiver we took in the fifth round, Ryan, whatever his name is, he's already 25. So I just find that odd. We love our older aged wide receivers, and he was an overaged wide receiver that played at a lower level of competition, but has athletic ability. So of course you're gonna look good. But what do I know? I First kid we're going to talk about is a kid, Brian Nesbitt, out of North Carolina. I'm going to compare this kid. This kid is like 6'5", 235, and he's skinny. He has to put on more weight if he thinks he's going to survive in the NFL. I'm going to comp him to Jets 2023 draft pick, Ryan Kuntz out of Old Dominion. This kid is 6'5", 235. So he has to put on size, and he's weird. He looks like a stork. Don't expect anything from this kid out of the running game as of right now, as of the tape we've had of this kid right now, because he does a lot of his damage out of the slot. So that's why I was talking about how some guys transfer to the NFL quicker than others. It's like a learning curve. And if he thinks he's going to be an in the line tight end in a pro style offense in the NFL and contribute, as a coach once told a good college tight end, anyone can go out and catch a pass. The difference between NFL tight ends and college tight ends is blocking. That's what's going to get you to keep your job on the field. You have to be a blocker as a tight end. You have to offer at least, no matter how good of a pass catcher you are, you have to offer at least something in the run blocking department and in the pass blocking department if you have a weak tackle. It all depends. So that's him right there. Next kid is Amari Niblack, Texas. He's an Alabama transfer. I think his best football is ahead of him. He's 6'4", 235. He had 4 TDs for Bama last year. He hasn't played a whole lot of snaps. This kid is a more projection pick for Texas with a high ceiling. In my opinion, he's going to slide right into Sanders' spot from tight end. And it's just like, listen, everyone has our stuff that bothers us or we don't like and stuff like that. Also, don't forget, I'm not a morning person. Like and subscribe if you like it. But For every Des Bryant, for every CD Lamb, there's a million busts that come out of the Big 12. This is just me personally. I'm not a big fan of Big 12 skill players. Like I said, listen, it was a gift that CD Lamb fell in our lap. It was a gift that Denver and the Raiders don't know how to draft. It took the bad wide receivers. But what I'm trying to say is like big the bust rate for Big 12 wide receivers and running backs is just ridiculous. They throw out some good offensive linemen. Their defensive linemen, majority of them are just busts. And I just like I've said this before, I'm just not a fan of the conference because they don't play defense. And we'll get to that part. It's coming soon, but we'll get to that part with the handicapping part of this channel. You're going to see triple digit over unders on Saturday's games. Why? Because they don't play defense. You're going to see basketball scores. It's very common in that conference to see 58, 55 games. It's ridiculous. They just don't play defense. So he's a projection pick. He has the size. He has the athletic ability. He's fast. He's a very fast kid. But at Bama, like you said, you're going to get lost real quick. And like it just seems like in the last few years, Bama really hasn't featured their tight ends in their offense that much. I don't know if it's just a lack of talent or it shouldn't be a lack of talent at Alabama. It's just they're not. I guess that's what the offensive coordinator's doing. That's to be honest with you. Next kid is a kid, Caden Priskin out of Ole Miss. He's a Memphis transfer. He has great size. I'm going to say this out of the 5 I'm giving you today, he probably is maybe the first or second best run blocking. He has NFL size for a complete tight end. 6'5", 255. He had over 30 receptions last year and over 400 yards. So he's a Memphis transfer. So he's going to be going a little bit up in competition, but not much. So he's a kid that really could surprise people if he can put it all together because he has the size and he has the hands, but he's also a bulldozer in the running game. He just has to transfer this to the next level. And when he's put on the big stage and his number is called, he better haul in these TDs. Like I said, I don't see this tight end class being like crazy, but we don't know yet. These are just dudes to watch. Wait a second. Still the best beard on YouTube, even under the weather. So he's a kid to watch this fall, these Saturdays in the fall. Like I said, this is only part 2, so I'm giving you guys are at 10 tight ends. Within the next month, you'll be at 20 tight ends just to watch, just to see how they're doing come the fall this weekend. Next kid is Jack Velens, Michigan State. He's an Oregon State transfer. He had 440 yards last year. In the past 2 years, he has over 11 touchdowns in the last 2 years. And now going from Pac-12, now the Big Ten, his run blocking is going to have to improve because you're playing late in the season, you're playing cold weather games, you're playing in snow, and then that's when your offenses become one-dimensional. So this kid definitely has the talent to do that, and he has the size. So it's just, can he do this? I definitely think he can. He's someone to watch out for in this fall's tight end class. Next kid is a strictly projection pick. He's been hurt in 2022 and 2023. I think he's only played 4 games, But 2019, 2020, and 2021, he was all big Pac 12. He was all Pac 12. So this kid, but even if he has a great year, he's going to be thrown down the list as an injury concern. And he can be great. He can be great value on day 3. Like I said, he's he was on fire his first 3 years, and then the last 2 years he's only played four games. Bryant, I'm gonna have a thing with his last name. Kehuth, Utah, 6'4", 235. This kid is a very sneaky and deceiving pass catcher. Remember this name from Utah, Brian Kehuth from Utah. Remember this name. No one's talking about him just because he's been hurt the last 2 years. But you're going to say, yo, I heard about him. I remember that name. If he can stay healthy. If he can't stay healthy, he's just going to fade away into nothing. But you never know the way this crazy NCAA is. Maybe he'll get another year of eligibility for injury, and he'll be like, next year be like a 7th-year senior. You never even know. I haven't even gone into these other guys with like 8-9 years already. But we'll get to, as we get to the later guys, we'll get to them. But this kid, if he can put it together this year and put together a solid season, you can get him on day 3, and he can be a solid pick. You're always going to have the asterisk next to his name, but especially with skilled position players, you can't really get down on them on like lower leg injuries, because that's what they're going to survive. That's what they're going to get on, because a lot of these dudes, you especially in college football, you can't lead with your head. If you get a targeting penalty, you're thrown out of that game and the next game. It all depends. Like, let's say you get thrown out of let's say it's the first quarter, first 3 minutes into the game, you get thrown out. So you're thrown out of that game, and you're missing the following game for the first 3 minutes. It all depends at what point of the game you get thrown out. So it's possible you're missing 2 games. So what do these kids do? Instead of going top and leading with their head and getting a targeting, in college football it's called targeting. NFL, it's just, 15-yard penalty, that's it. Maybe a fine, but in college football, you're getting thrown out. So you're seeing a lot of kids in college. They're like, okay, screw that. I'm not going to lead with my helmet and go high. I'm just going to go down low and blow someone's MCL, ACL, meniscus out, because that's what the rules say, and you can't blame them. So those are 5 names just to watch out for. Apologize for getting this out early. I'm not a morning person, but I just wanted to get this tight end part 2 out because I'm backed up. So later on today, I'm going to be dropping a second video of safeties part 2. So then all that's going to leave us with is a wide receiver part 2 and a cornerback part 2. And then we should have that done by Monday. And then Monday, we're going to start part 3 at every single position. We're going to go down the list again with 20 names, 20 plus names. And then we're going to throw out a part 4. And then we're going to start talking about smaller school guys that nobody else besides this channel is talking about. All the guys that are into draft, look around at everybody else's channels, see how many dudes they've broken down, and then compare them to how many guys I've broken down. So like I said, but this is what I do. This is what I like. I enjoy college football. So once again, later on, you'll get safety today, and we'll round everything about tomorrow. We'll finish it up. And Monday, we're going to start part 3. When you're rocking with the GWO, it's for life. Thank everybody. See you later on in a bit.